Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. So today we are gonna try something a little bit different.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, instead of our usual deep dives into research papers and articles and all that,
Right.
we are actually going to be taking a deep dive into a story,
Oh, wow.
an adventure,
Okay.
unfolding in a world called Mistralorn.
Interesting.
Yeah, and we'll
Yeah.
be following along episode by episode as this tale unfolds and twists and turns.
We
So
like it already. This is a cool change of pace.
yeah. So to set the stage, Mistralorn is a wild frontier where the Dawnspire Empire is clashing with the untamed wilderness.
Ooh, so there's that tension between civilization and nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the physical challenges, you've got towering mountains,
Mm.
dense forests, but there are also these whispers of old magic.
Oh, so it's not just a simple struggle for survival?
No, it's much deeper than that. And the Empire is actually outlawed magic, so there's this underlying fear and mystery surrounding it.
It sounds like a world ripe for conflict.
Oh, absolutely. So to give you a better picture of this world, let's talk about some key locations.
Yeah.
So you have Thorngate, which is the capital city, and it's ruled by this very ambitious and, let's be honest, ruthless Governor Hoyt Windcrest.
Sounds like a character we wouldn't want to cross.
Probably not. Then you have the Shardspire Mountains, which are rich with silver, and that's attracting the attention of the Silvermark Company.
Ah, so we've got the lure of wealth and power.
Exactly. And they're basically running the show. They're even pushing into the ancestral lands of the Elkridge people.
Oh, so there's going to be conflict with the indigenous population as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a powder keg waiting to explode. And then caught in the middle of all of this are the folks in Split Rock Haven. These are settlers, pioneers, looking for freedom from the Empire. But they've landed in a really tough spot, facing danger from all sides.
So they're kind of between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that danger is amplified by this pretty grim reality.
Yeah.
The Silvermark Company needs miners, but free men want wages. So their solution, prison labor.
Oh.
Yeah. Governor Windcrest's courts are churning out convictions, feeding the minds with desperate souls.
That's dark.
Yeah, and the rumors surrounding these prison camps are chilling. No one seems to come back. What's truly happening in there? Well, that's where our story begins.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah, we're joining 3 characters on a prison transport headed towards those very mountains.
3 characters. This is getting good.
It is. Each with their own stories, their own secrets about to be thrown together in this crucible of hardship and danger. Will they find horror or maybe opportunity? Let's meet our players, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, first up we have Ryujin Griffos. He's known as the prodigal child of wind and water, and for good reason. Found as a child after this just devastating storm, it was as if the elements themselves had delivered him to this land.
Wow, so he's got a mysterious origin story.
Oh yeah. Imagine this. A storm of unnatural fury tied Whisper Bay, battered by wind and waves. And then amidst the wreckage, a child is found.
It's like something out of a myth.
It really is. And his adoptive parents, Nico and Amara, they saw him as a gift, a blessing from the spirits. And it quickly became clear that Ryujin was no ordinary child. He had this incredible, almost instinctual connection to the elements, especially water.
So we're talking about real magic here.
Real magic. There are stories of him healing his mother's burn simply by willing the water to mend her skin. It's like the water itself responded to his touch.
That's amazing, but also potentially dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Especially in a world where magic is outlawed.
Exactly. And that's why his parents, worried for his safety, sent him to the monks of Mount Kiro. These monks are like keepers of forgotten knowledge. They train in both physical and mental disciplines and are renowned for their healing abilities.
So they're like the guardians of the old ways.
Yeah. Now, the mainlanders view them as heretics for their reverence of unseen forces, but they saw something special in Ryujin. They understood balance. They taught him that true mastery isn't about dominating the elements, but harmonizing with them.
It's a crucial distinction, especially in a world where so many are vying for power.
It is. And the mainland, with its rigid laws and fear of magic, it's not exactly welcoming to someone like Ryujin.
No, I can imagine that.
So after years of training, he embarks on this pilgrimage, eager to explore the world. But upon arriving at a mainland port city, he's immediately arrested.
Arrested? What for?
His crime. Simply mentioning his training with the monks.
That's insane.
It is. So here's this young man, gifted with extraordinary abilities, trained in the pursuit of balance and harmony, and he ends up shackled on a prison transport his future, completely uncertain.
What a way to start your journey.
Right. It makes you wonder, what crime has he truly committed? Why is the mainland so hostile towards those who wield magic? And what will become of Ryujin in this strange and unforgiving land?
These are some serious questions. Okay, I'm ready for the next character. Who's next?
Okay, now let's turn our attention to Terra, the gnome kineticist. Her story is one of contrast ambition clashing with the natural world. Imagine growing up in the shadow of a palace where your family serves a king obsessed with power and control.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And yet you find yourself drawn to this nearby forest, a place deemed cursed and forbidden, where you discover a connection to something far greater than yourself.
It's like she's drawn to the very thing the king fears.
Exactly. Her father, Raoul, was a renowned botanist known for creating these hybrid plants with almost magical properties.
Plants with magical properties, that's fascinating.
Oh, yeah. But it's Terra who unlocks this deeper connection to nature, discovering her ability to draw magic from the earth itself. It's like she can sense the pulse of the land, tap into the ancient energy that flows beneath the surface.
It sounds like she has a very raw and powerful connection to nature.
She does. And you can already see the potential for conflict, right? Terra finds solace and strength in the natural world, in the balance of nature. But the king seeks to dominate and exploit, to bend everything to his will.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And Terra unfortunately gets caught up in that pursuit of power. Tempted by the allure of the forbidden Shin, she delves into darker magic, neglecting the harmony she once embraced.
It's like she's lost her way.
She has. And that's where things take a turn. There's this incident with the king's fallen companion. Terra, eager to prove herself, uses her untested magic to resurrect him. But it backfires terribly. Yeah, the companion returns twisted and corrupted, leading to an assassination attempt on the king.
And I'm guessing Terra gets the blame.
Of course.
Yeah.
She becomes the scapegoat and is banished to the very forest that once gave her strength, her connection to the earth, fractured by her reckless actions.
That's a harsh punishment.
It is. And now she's lost and alone her magic. Chaotic and potentially dangerous. It makes you wonder, can Terra find redemption? Can she reclaim the balance she once had, or will the darkness she dabbled in consume her?
It's a question of whether she can overcome her past mistakes.
Exactly. And that question hangs heavy as we find her in her current predicament. Desperate and starving, she resorts to theft, a desperate act that lands her on the prison transport alongside Ryujin.
So now we've got two powerful individuals both grappling with the consequences of their choices thrown together on this journey into the unknown.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see how they interact.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So who's our third character?
All right, last but not least, we have Thargrin Ironvein, the dwarf wizard. And his story is in many ways a celebration of craft and family.
Okay, that sounds more uplifting than the first two.
It is born into a lineage of master brewers. He wasn't content with simply following tradition. Thargrin was an innovator, always experimenting, always pushing the boundaries of what was possible.
I like him already, always pushing the boundaries.
And his magic? Well, he didn't use it for power or conquest. He used it to elevate brewing to an art form.
So we're talking about magically enhanced beer.
Magically enhanced beer. It wasn't about spells of destruction or domination. It was about perfecting the brewing process, using magic to control fermentation temperatures, purify the water, even enhance the flavors of the ingredients.
Now that's dedication to your craft.
It is, but Thargrin's quest for excellence leads him down a bit of a dangerous path. Driven by his desire to create the ultimate brew, he sets out in search of the legendary silver petal orchid.
A legendary ingredient. This is getting good.
It is. This rare flower is said to impart an ethereal quality to any drink. But unfortunately, his search leads him to trespass on the estate of Lord Halbrecht Avric, a powerful and ruthless nobleman.
Oh no, I have a bad feeling about this.
And this wasn't just a random act of trespassing. Halbrecht held a grudge against the Ironvein family for refusing to sell him their brewing secrets years ago. It was a personal vendetta. So Thargrin ends up arrested, thrown into prison on trumped-up charges.
That's awful.
It is. But even in captivity, Thargrin's spirit isn't broken. He's got goals. He wants to escape, of course, but he also wants to find his family's clan dagger, a symbol of their heritage, and his spellbook, the repository of all his brewing knowledge. And let's not forget his desire to get his hands on a barrel and brewing gear.
Even in prison, he's still thinking about brewing. That's amazing.
It's like even in this dire situation, he's still focused on the things that bring him joy, the things that connect him to his family and his passion.
He sounds like a really resilient character.
It speaks to his character, doesn't it? Even in the face of adversity, he holds on to his love for his craft. He dreams of creating the perfect ale with that silver petal orchid, of sharing his knowledge with his family, and perhaps just perhaps of getting a little revenge against Lord Halbrecht.
I love it. A little revenge served with a side of delicious beer.
Exactly. And of course, he never wants to be without a good stein.
Of course not.
So there you have it. Three very different individuals. Ryujin, the master of the elements, Terra, the fallen kineticist, and Thargrin, the brewer wizard. They're now bound together by circumstance, thrown onto this prison transport, headed towards a fate unknown.
This is going to be epic. I can't wait to see what happens next.
I know, right? What awaits them in the Shardspire Mountains? Will they become pawns in the Silvermark Company's schemes, or will they forge their own destinies? And what about those prison camps shrouded in mystery and chilling rumors?
Ooh, the suspense is killing me.
It is. Before we move on to the next chapter of this unfolding story, I want to hear from you. What stands out to you so far? Which character's story intrigues you the most? What questions are swirling in your mind?
Yeah, let us know.
Take a moment to consider the possibilities. Who might become allies? Could betrayals unfold? What secrets might be revealed? We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the next chapter of this adventure.
Can't wait.
So we left off with our three characters, headed to this prison camp in the Shardspire Mountains. And it's really got me thinking about how their paths might intersect. Like, how they might change each other along the way. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just think about it. You've got these three individuals from such different backgrounds with such different experiences all thrown together in this really harsh environment. It's a recipe for some serious drama.
Right. And it's not just about, like the external conflict with the Empire and the prison and all that. It's about the internal struggles they're each facing, too. Like with Ryujin, he's been raised by these monks to seek harmony, to understand the balance of nature.
Right, and that's going to clash hard with the Empire's whole mindset, their ruthless pursuit of progress at any cost.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder how he's going to hold on to that sense of peace and balance when surrounded by so much, chaos and injustice.
That's a good question. And, that same compassion that he has, that could also make him a natural leader in this situation, someone who tries to unite the prisoners against a common enemy.
Oh, I could totally see that happening. And there's Terra, who's dealing with, all this guilt and fear over her past mistakes. She's tasted power, but it's left her kind of broken and lost.
Yeah, and her connection to the earth is fractured, which, for a kineticist, that's going to be pretty devastating.
It is, and it makes me wonder if she'll retreat into herself, consumed by her own inner demons, or if she'll find a way to use her abilities to help others, maybe even atone for what she's done.
It's a real crossroads for her. And then we have Thargrin, the eternal optimist.
Oh,
the one who finds solace in his craft, even when stripped of his freedom. I have a feeling his brewing skills could become a source of comfort for the other prisoners, a way to bring a little bit of joy and normalcy into their lives.
Totally. It's like that little act of defiance.
Yeah.
Refusing to let the darkness extinguish that spark of creativity.
Exactly. And it's so interesting how each of these characters represents a different way of coping with adversity. Ryujin seeks understanding and connection, Terra grapples with her inner demons, and Thargrin focuses on what he can control, finding meaning in his passion.
It's true. And I wonder if their contrasting approaches could somehow complement each other.
Yeah.
Maybe even teach them some valuable lessons about resilience and hope.
I think there's definitely potential for that. But we also can't forget about the forces working against them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we've got the Silvermark Company shrouded in secrecy. Their motives are still pretty unclear. Are they just exploiting these prisoners for labor? Or is there something more sinister going on?
Yeah. And what about Governor Windcrest? He's the one feeding the mines with prisoners, but is he just a puppet of the Silvermark Company, or does he have his own agenda?
It's like there are all these layers of intrigue, and we're only just starting to peel them back.
And remember, this is just the beginning. We've barely scratched the surface of this world, of this story. Who knows what twists and turns await? Could our characters find themselves caught up in a rebellion against the Empire?
That would be intense.
I know, right? Or maybe they uncover ancient secrets hidden within those mountains? Or encounter remnants of that old magic, the stuff that even the Empire fears?
The possibilities are endless. And it makes you think, if you were in their shoes, what would you do?
That's a great question for our listeners out there.
Yeah.
What would you do if you were Ryujin? Torn between your training and the harsh realities of this new world.
Or how would you handle the weight of your past choices if you were Terra? Could you find it in yourself to forgive yourself and move forward?
And could you maintain your optimism and dedication if you were Thargrin, stripped of your freedom and the tools of your trade?
It really makes you think about your own values and how you would navigate such a challenging situation.
It does. And, it's not just about their individual journeys. It's about the fate of Mistralorn itself. Will the Empire succeed in exploiting the land and its resources?
Or will the old magic, the spirit of the land, find a way to push back?
And could our characters hold the key to answering that question?
It's a battle between control and freedom in a way, and it'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
One thing's for sure, things are about to get very interesting. The stage is set, the characters are in place, and the adventure's about to begin. But before we move on to the next chapter,
Yes.
I want to hear your thoughts. What intrigues you the most about this world, about this story?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to see unfold as our characters' paths intertwine? What alliances do you think might form? Could there be betrayals lurking around the corner? And what secrets are just waiting to be revealed?
Ooh, good questions. Let us know in the comments.
We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the next chapter of this unfolding saga. All right, so last time we left our heroes on that prison transport, headed right for the Shardspire Mountains to those mysterious prison camps.
Yeah.
But before we, jump into their arrival and all that awaits them, there's something that's been kind of nagging at me.
Oh, what's that?
Well, it's this whole thing with the Empire's, obsession with progress and their total suppression of magic.
Yeah, that is interesting, right? It's like they're so focused on controlling the physical world, the resources, the land itself, that they've completely rejected anything that hints at something beyond, like a deeper power.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, what are they so afraid of? I mean, they outlawed magic, but why?
Right.
Is it just about, maintaining control, or is there something more? Could they have stumbled upon something in their quest for, dominance that's made them wary of magic's true potential?
It's a good question, and it kind of makes you think about, our own world and how we often fear what we don't understand or what we can't control.
Right. And I mean, think about how this might affect our characters, each of whom has their own unique connection to magic. Like Ryujin, for example, he's been trained by the monks to harmonize with the elements to find balance.
Right, and that's going to put him at odds with the Empire's whole philosophy, their desire to exploit the land for its resources.
Yeah. Could his powers be seen as a threat, or maybe even a key to understanding the mysteries of Mistralorn? It's hard to say.
And then there's Terra, who's really struggling with her connection to the Earth. It's been fractured by her past mistakes and her dabbling in darker magic.
Right. Will this harsh environment, being forced into labor in these mines, will that push her further down a dark path? Or could it be a chance for her to kind of reconnect with nature, to heal and find redemption?
I mean, it's definitely possible that facing those hardships could force her to confront her inner demons and, maybe find a new purpose.
And then you've got Thargrin, the ever-resourceful brewer wizard who, even in this dire situation, is still focused on his craft, on creating and bringing joy to others.
He's a bright spot in all this darkness, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he'll be able to hold on to that sense of purpose, in captivity. Will he find a way to use his skills to provide comfort and solace to his fellow prisoners? I could totally see him, brewing up some kind of magical concoction to boost morale.
Oh, absolutely. And it makes you think about, the other inhabitants of Mistralorn, like the Elkridge people, whose ancestral lands are being encroached upon by the Silvermark Company.
Right. What role might they play in all of this? Do they hold the key to understanding the old magic, the secrets that the Empire is so desperate to control?
It's a story filled with so many possibilities, and I'm really excited to see how it all unfolds.
Me too. And, it's not just about the adventure and the intrigue. It's also about, the choices we make in our own lives, the challenges we face, and how we overcome them.
Exactly. Ryujin's struggle to maintain balance, Terra's journey towards redemption, Thargrin's unwavering dedication to his craft. These are all themes that resonate with the human experience.
Yeah, as we continue to follow their story, let's pay attention to the lessons they learn. The sacrifices they make and the triumphs they achieve. Maybe their experiences can inspire us to, face our own challenges with a little more courage and compassion.
Absolutely. And maybe, just maybe, this story will spark a conversation, a deep dive of your own into the forces that shape our world, the choices we make, and the impact we have on each other.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those imaginations firing, because this adventure has just begun, and we're all along for the ride.